All right, can you tell me about this picture?
This is a picture of my dad's parents, Christian Wolff, and his wife, Elizabeth Rau Eipersbach Wolff.
Can you spell that for me?
Eipersbach, Aiperspach.
Okay.
Two F's in Wolff.
Right. And they lived in a small house on your farm?
On my parents' farm, yes.
All right.
My parents on their wedding day. My mother was a 17-year-old bride. And they must have been ready for marriage because it lasted a long time.
How old was your father?
I think 25. He was born in 1895. They got married in 1920. So.
Must have been.
He had been in the U.S. Army.
Right.
This is a picture of my mother and dad the day after their wedding. Their wedding celebrations lasted 2 or 3 days, but this was taken the day after. They don't look too bad for wear.
Can you tell me about 3-day wedding celebrations?
I don't know anything about them.
All right. Okay. Here we have a couple of pictures.
Which ones are you going to get?
Well, we'll get all of them.
Okay.
Can you tell me about this one?
That's my dad as a soldier in World War I, about 1918.
All right.
And the next one is myself and my brother Paul and my sister Ruby. I might have been like 2 or 3 years old.
Okay.
And they said I always played with my hands whenever I was supposed to have my picture taken. So. And the other one is the DeSoto car that my dad bought when he got his soldier's bonus for having been in World War I, a veteran. And he used his bonus to buy a new car because there was no other money available at the time.
How long did you have
It was a DeSoto. I don't know how long he had that car. It lasted quite a while.
Okay.
Okay, we had this picture once before, but my grandparents and me on the doorstep on their little house. In the background is the roof of my parents' home, the home that they lost in a fire in 1933. All my relatives remember that I was my grandfather's favorite grandchild. I look kind of peaked on that picture. And the next picture is myself and my brother and my oldest sister. And again, I am playing with my hands. It must have been taken at the same time when my picture with my grandparents was taken, because I have the same little dirty mark on my sock.
Right.
Shouldn't I have said that?
That's fine.
This is a picture of my neighbor girl and I. We went to elementary school together all through the 8th grades. We went to high school together. We went to college together. She passed away this week And I'm going to attend her funeral tomorrow in Medora.
What was her name?
We were probably 12 years and 13 years old, 12 years old. She was a year older than I.
And what was her name?
Joreen Frafjord Burkhart. Do you need
Would you spell that?
Frafjord? Joreen, Jorine, Frafjord, and Burkhart, Burkhardt.
All right. Thank you.
That's a picture of myself and our little pet horse, a Welsh pony that we called Shorty.
Okay.
I always loved horses.
Did you ride a lot?
I was very good on horseback, and I rode a lot all through my married days because our pastures were far apart and we had to do a lot of riding.
All right.
This is my high school graduation class. We graduated in 1943.
All right.
I was salutatorian in the class.
Okay.
And this is a picture of my husband's high school graduation class.
Where is he?
He is the blonde at the top of the picture, yes. And he was a football player and was recognized as the All-Missouri Slope Guard when he was, I think, a junior in high school. Oh.
A little bit back in time.
This is my confirmation picture. It must have been taken in about 1941 or 42. 41, I think.
And where are you?
I'm the second from the left,
Right there?
from the right.
Okay.
In the first row.
And you were telling us earlier about how the first time you took the picture.
We had the picture taken, and some things didn't turn out right, and so we had to have the picture retaken. But some of the kids had been gone, and then they cut the faces out of the first picture and glued them on here, and that's why it looks the way it does.
So some of these were cut out.
Yes.
All right.
That's my family picture. My mother and dad, their 2 sons and 5 daughters. I am the first one on the left in the top row.
Right here?
Yes.
Okay, who's next?
And next is my sister Ramona,
Okay,
and then Viola.
right there?
Viola, yes. And Della, and Ruby.
Okay.
Viola is deceased. Della and Ruby will be coming to visit me today. Ramona just had a complete knee replacement and didn't think she should tackle coming.
That would be hard.
And my brother Armin,
Okay.
the youngest in the family, and my other brother Paul on the right, and he is deceased. That was a picture of me before I was married, in the good old days.
Was there a special occasion why this was taken?
I used it to announce my engagement in the paper.
Okay.
My husband's graduation picture. He graduated from Hazen High School in 1940.
Okay.
That was my husband when he came dating me. He was pretty proud of his car. That was my husband and I in our dating days.
What was a typical date like for you guys?
We went to a lot of dances and just cut up and had a good time.
What were dances like?
There was a dance hall at Beulah called a Sheep Shed, where all the young people in the area went to the dance every Saturday night. Another picture of our dating days.
You guys look very happy.
I was a young school teacher. We had a lot of fun together. This is my husband on his favorite saddle horse.
Do you remember the name of the horse?
It was Woozy, W-O-Z-Y.
Did you ride together a lot?
Yes, we did.
All right.
That was taken in front of the church when we got married. We were married on a Sunday afternoon. We did not have a formal wedding. We did not have formal wedding attire because it was right after the war, and things were pretty hard to get a hold of. We had to chip together both our families so that we could get enough sugar to make a wedding cake. That's another picture of our wedding with the attendants. Reuben Getz, my husband's good friend, and my sister Ramona.
Can you tell me a little more about your wedding ceremony?
It was just a plain, regular wedding ceremony, and with the attendants, Reuben and Ramona, and our parents were seated in the pews behind us, and my dad cried all the while I was getting married, so that I heard him crying. And my father-in-law gave him a strange look and thought, what's the matter? You're getting a good son-in-law. That's another picture taken at my parents' home after we got home. Before we went to eat the dinner my mother had prepared for our family and my husband's family.
Do you remember what you had for dinner?
I think it was chicken, a chicken dinner.
Was there any kind of celebration, like a dance or anything?
No, we didn't have a dance.
How about a honeymoon?
We went on a honeymoon to Montana. Just a short honeymoon. We went to the Yellowstone Park.
All right. Is there anything else you remember about your wedding?
Not that I want to talk about.
Okay.
And this is the church we were married in.
What's the name of this church?
Golgotha Lutheran Church at Golden Valley.
All right.
That was taken a little while after our wedding. We went to a photographer and had our picture taken.
Where did you get your dress for the wedding?
My dress?
Yeah.
I bought it in Bismarck in one of the dress shops.
All right.
I was a rural school teacher, taught in a one-room school. This is a picture of my 7th and 8th graders.
Do you remember their names?
The first one is Reuben Enzi and Albert Enzi, his brother, and his cousin Emmanuel Enzi.
Can you spell that last name?
E-N-T-Z-E.
Right.
And this is a picture at the same school. I had 7 students. They were all cousins, and they were my cousins. All boys.
Do you remember all their names?
Yes. Emmanuel Enzi, Vernon Enzi, Reuben Enzi, Harold Enzi, Albert Enzi, Bobby Enzi, and Leroy Eiperspach. A-I-P-P-E-R-S-P-A-C-H.
All right. How many years did you teach school?
I taught school 6 years.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I love teaching. And just because I quit as a teacher, I've been teaching in many different ways. Once a teacher, you're always a teacher. This is a picture of the first school that I taught. I had graduated from high school, gone to the summer quarter, and gotten a teacher's certificate from Dickinson Teachers College. And I went to teach north of Hazen, right at the spot where the Garrison Dam was built. Before the dam was built, they started working on it while I was there. This is a picture of my dad and some of his friends after a successful hunting expedition in the area around us. It looks like they were hunting ducks.
And which one is your dad?
My dad is the tall one on the end. Just a picture of our truck with a stock rack before stock trailers became popular.
And this was after you were married?
Yes. It was taken on our farm.
All right.
That's a picture of my husband when he was still single, when he bought his first tractor, a Farmall H.
Do you remember getting tractors when you were growing up?
Oh yes, my dad bought the first tractor the day I was born, and there were many that came after that. His first tractor was not on rubber wheels, it had lugs. We lived north of Golden Valley, but our big pasture was south of town, a distance of about 4 or 5 miles. 5 miles. And we would drive our cattle south in the spring and bring them home in the fall. And we always had to cross the highway, which was real bad because the cows didn't want to cross the highway. At another place, we had to drive them over a bridge across the Spring Creek. And that was really, really hard. The cattle did not want to go across the bridge. And we had to ride like real cowboys and to succeed in getting them home. Some days were very hard. This is a picture, let's see, let's get it straight. This is a picture of my dad, the tall man in the middle, my husband, the short person on the right, and his brother, my husband's brother, on the left, at the stockyards in St. Paul when we shipped cattle by rail to St. Paul, usually right after Christmas.
This is where they went to sell them?
They went to sell the cattle there, and they would ride the train along with, in a caboose, along with the cattle.
Right.
Just a picture of, a little picture of our farm, part of our farmyard, showing the geese that I raised. A little girl was following them. And this is another picture of my geese. I loved poultry, and I raised lots of chickens and ducks and geese.
Did you make them into pets?
They weren't really pets, but I saved the feathers, and I still have 18 feather pillows from the down from my ducks and geese. And the gander chased the kids, and all my nieces and nephews talk about my mean gander. Just a picture of some little square hay bales. They were nice in the feed racks, but they were a man killer to haul.
Yeah.
My husband on his John Deere tractor. Looks like he's seeding. I can't tell what he's doing. No, baling, I think. I think that's a baler. Okay. Another picture of him baling hay.
Did you ever help with field work?
Oh yes, I mowed a lot of hay. I helped with everything. I raked a lot of hay, and and I helped stack the bales. Just a scene of branding in our early married days. Later we had better corrals and better equipment. But the man with the hat on is my father, branding a calf. And the man with the light-colored hat holding the calf is my husband. The others are neighbors.
Was branding a really time-consuming process?
It took a whole day, yeah, till the cattle were rounded up and branded and everybody was fed, and it was quite a day.
Did neighbors always come over to help?
Oh yes, everybody worked together. Still do. That's a picture of my husband and me in our kitchen on the farm. I had a lovely kitchen with the dining area lined with redwood boards. And the picture on the wall was a picture that I had made for my husband because I never had a garden spot. I always planted in the field, and when he was done harvesting, he would turn the cattle out in the field, and there went my garden. So I was angry one year, and I had a lady paint a picture of a cow in a garden with one foot in a watermelon and a beet hanging out of her mouth. And I gave it to him. I invited some friends, and we came and had a little visit, and during the course of the evening, we presented him with this picture.
And what did he think of that?
He thought it was a big joke, but he really liked the picture, and after that, I got a garden spot. I got a garden spot. Okay. This is a picture of my parents' 46th wedding anniversary. We observed their 46th wedding because my mother had had a stroke and we didn't think she would live to the 50th. But my dad died before she did. They never did celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. The attendants were my mother's sister, and the other was my dad's half-brother, John Wolff.
Okay. And what was your mother's sister's name?
Mrs. Ed Bellon from Montana. Bellon. Oh, this is a picture taken of me after we retired and moved to Dickinson. And the grocery store was having a truckload sale, and along with that, they had a pie baking contest, and I won the prize.
What kind of pie did you make?
It was a peach pie that I had bought the peaches off their truckload sale. That's it. Okay, this is a picture of the International Farm Youth Exchange student, an Iffy. He came from Germany and lived on our farm for 3 weeks in the fall of 1970. He lived on a dairy farm in Germany, but he loved the ranch and the ranch cattle, and here he was petting one of them. And the horse is looking over the wall.